Hello everybody, welcome back to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Pitter Patter Pop. Today we're talking unit ranking, which I know in the past I've said I don't like to do. For the most part, I still don't like to do it, so don't get too used to these videos. The main reason I don't like to do this is because units are good at specific things and content requires very specific things. So like when you go into new events, you know, like here, let me, yeah, whatever, fine, yes, fine, okay. So, like an example, score attack is of course a big deal, but like an event like this doesn't really matter how high your score attack score is. It matters that you clear the objective, right? So a lot of units are really good at specific things and really bad at other things, and I think that you can kind of argue that you can't really balance that. It's a mess. It's a mess. Like an event like King Crimson that spams Locks tiles, like Part 4 Jotaro, not really that good for that, you know? Or you have to get a high combo counter ranking thing, like Risotto sucks for combo counter because he gets one giant combo. It's a mess. So I'm going to be putting down some specific criteria from the get-go. One, we're going to be talking about score attack primarily because that's where I think unit rankings and unit viability matter the most because it's not a specific thing, it's a competition with a payout. Two, I'm going to be talking about these units at least a competitive skill level. I mean, obviously, this game is not competitive in any way, but what I mean by a competitive skill level is a skill level where that unit becomes good. So, like, if you're really, really terrible at skill level 1, but you're really, really great above skill level, 3 or 4, I'm going to do high skill level for this. So, don't take it to heart if all of your units are skill level 1, because that's a whole other discussion. Units just change too much between skill levels for that to be the big deal. And then 3, I'm only going to, like, part of what ranks these units is going to be how often they place in score attack. Because, again, consistency and results are important when you're looking at a unit. Even if on paper you think some unit might be better than one of the ones that I'm talking about, you got to remember that if that unit doesn't place, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway, let's get started. Number 1, I'm actually going to start from the top. Usually people go backwards in these. I'm going to start from the very beginning because I think the ones that people will be more surprised about are at the bottom. So number 1, to nobody's surprise, is Part 4 Jotaro still. Actually, I will say, I think you could argue he might not stay number 1 for too much longer, at least by the criteria that I have put down. Because, well, you know what? We're just going to talk about him. Incredibly good character. He's got a 60-second cooldown on his skill at max. He's got 7 seconds of frozen time. Any tiles that break in frozen time do bonus damage, but it still builds up your ally skill gauge, and it still builds up your stand-up time gauge. This character is the reason they nerfed stand-up time. I mean, you don't need me to tell you he's good. Everybody knows he's good. He is everybody's favorite everything. Everybody knows he's good. The number 2 overall character in the game, Risotto Nero. I got a little pushback on this last time. I said that I think he is the number 2 character in the game. I'm sticking to it. He is... I don't even know how to put it. He changed the game, basically. He added 10,000 or 10 million extra points to the standard score attack fair. He changed the game. No character can hit the kind of heights that he can. Even Part 4 Jotaro really can't compete in raw output with him. Now, he lacks consistency. He is definitely the most finicky character on this list. He's kind of really struggles for consistent turn after turn after turn play. But this is a team game. Again, ranking individual units is really hard in a team game. But based on the criteria that I have put down for this video, I'm going to keep stressing that point. I think that he is the second best character in the game. And I think if he continues to consistently dominate the rankings, he will become the best character in the game, in my opinion. Based on the fact that we're doing score attack, I think you could even argue right now he's number 1. I still have Part 4 Jotaro ranked higher than him just because he keeps dominating these rankings with bonus units. And I want to see him start to do it without a bonus unit on his team before I wholeheartedly commit to him being better than Part 4 Jotaro. But right now, Risotto is number 2 with a high chance of ending up at number 1 because his weaknesses can be covered by a valuable team member. He's so good, you guys. Like, let's go look at the rankings. Let's just go look at the rankings, okay? He's so good. Look at this. 37 million with Caesar. I mean, Caesar's a bonus unit, so it's fine. God, my score's terrible. I gotta get back in and try doing this again before it goes away. Ah, man. Look at this. I remember counting not too long ago. I don't know if it's changed, but I think Risotto is on something like 91 of the 100 teams in the top 100. That's actually, holy shit. That's I think that's 95. I'm not going to count it right now on camera because it's going to take me forever, but I believe he's on 95 right now of the 90 or of the 100 teams. So he is a complete dominant force. He changed the way the game is played. Not really the way it's played, but the way that you evaluate units and the way you score units. He's ridiculous. And another couple weeks like this, he will absolutely become my number one. A lot of people fought me on him even being number two. Said he's not good enough for number two. If you're looking at overall content, I guess you could argue that. But that's also really hard to do because there's so many different things and variables that go into that. But in score attack, at a good skill level, Risotto is like number 1.5. You know, he's in debate for number one. So number three, and this is the guy that everybody fought me about being better than him, is Fugo still. Fugo is Mr. Consistency. He is a very kind of, I don't want to say boring character, but there's basically zero variance to his ability. It's very good. It's very consistent. You see this little highlighted area over here? That is the number of tiles that he erases. So he wipes all of those rows. He drops 4 blocked tiles that are charged up. So all you really need to do to make Fugo good is pair him. I mean, shit, Fugo pairs with basically anybody, except for, I guess, Risotto. But all you really need to do to make him good is make him either pair him up with an ally that clears those tiles, or the usual fare is to pair him with Part 4 Jotaro, who then can just charge Fugo back up really quickly, and then Fugo can just clear the tiles himself for bonus damage and just loop it that way. Fugo's kind of ridiculous. He's also, fun fact, and well, not really a fun fact, but a bonus point for Fugo, is that he is the only unit so far on this list that is in the general pool. So I think that is kind of a plus, just because he's easy to get. Not easy to get, but easier to get than all of these guys. You know, he's not 100% requiring skill tickets to get stronger. I mean, he's really good. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to him, so it's hard to really talk about him, but he is really good. He's at least, even if he's not blowing up the leaderboard, but Part 4 Jotaro isn't anymore either. But he is a consistent ranker still. You still see him on teams. Part 4 Jotaro and Fugo is still one of the best teams in the game. And it's probably the most all-purpose team in the game because, like I said, Risotto is a specialist. This guy is not. It's really up to what you care about, but based on... I'm going to get really sick of hearing me say this, but based on the criteria that I have set for this, Fugo is third. Number 4, voiced Giorno. This is another one that I think some people might disagree with. In my opinion, he is the best straight-up tile changer in the game. He's got a lot going for him. He works really well with Risotto. He's got a really good pattern, so he also combos really well with someone like Abacchio. If we weren't doing pure score attack, I would probably have him ranked even higher than Fugo, just because of the amount of combinations that he makes and the fact that Abacchio is actually a really good character to have and be good with in like a lot of non-score attack content. Maybe I'll go into why that is another day when I'm talking about Abacchio, but Abacchio is a really valuable teammate if you are good with him. All in all, Giorno's really good. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again, but I mean, these characters, everyone already knows they're good, right? I feel like number 5 is the only one I'm going to really have to explain in a way that people may not realize, but Giorno has a slightly faster than average cooldown at 70. He swaps 16 tiles. He charges his own tiles. So, like, let's say, in that pattern right there, let's say those are all Giorno tiles. Well, he won't change any of them, but he will charge them. So that, I mean, the big thing that tile changers struggle with and that make tile changers bad is that for every tile of their own that they overlap, you've basically lost one. off of their skill usage, right? So like someone like Jonathan, let's say he Sunlight Yellow punches the center of the board, but half the tiles in his change radius are his own already. Well, then his attack is basically cut in half because you're getting about half the value out of it you would normally. With Giorno, you really can't lose that value because even if he's changing his own tile, it's charging it, so you're getting extra damage out of it. And also he charges locked tiles, which is nice too. Because he charges the bottom of the board like that, he's really good with Abakio, because Abakio will copy and paste the charged tiles up to the top. Or you can grab all of your Giorno stuff out of the bottom and throw it all up to the top, and then you can use Giorno to change the bottom to fill in a ton of space, and then you can use Risotto to charge basically the whole board. It's definitely good when you're a character that has this kind of toolbox application, and then you also happen to be good with the character who's dominating score attack right now. You know. So the last character, this is the one that everyone's going to complain about, and I already hear the keys clicking, so at least hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Number 5 in the game right now, Yukako. I know, hear me out, okay? She's crazy. And she's crazy for very specific reasons. Now, people have known that she's really good for a long time as sort of like a utility character for dealing with a lot of hard content like boss battles, you know, Kira, King Crimson, Prison Jotaro, that kind of stuff, because of her ability to generate boxes. But what people may not know, or at least may not apply to why she's so good right now, is that she's basically the ideal partner for Risotto. Maybe his best buddy in the whole game. I think that Risotto and Voice Giorno is really good too. But Yukako has a lot of very weird specifics about her that make her so good with him. So if you look at her pattern is disjointed. That may not seem like a big deal, but what it lets you do is that you can basically spam the Yukako Risotto back and forth combo like you do with anybody. You know what I mean? The double skill where you use the tile changer and then you immediately use Risotto before it goes away. But this lets you sort of do that even if there's Risotto tiles on the board. A lot of characters have to play it slower so they can clear those Risotto tiles off the board quickly so that Risotto gets his big move. But even if he doesn't get his big move with Yukako, because her pattern is disjointed like this, she's getting 2 boxes. Why do boxes matter? Boxes matter with Risotto because Risotto can't clear block tiles. Like, for example, the leaderboard right now is all Risotto and Caesar is like the top rankings, but that's only because Caesar is a bonus unit. Caesar is actually fairly inconsistent with Risotto, because if he's not clearing away those block tiles when he uses his bubble launcher, you've got nothing to clear them away with until you generate some boxes of your own. With characters that always result in one big center move, like either Jonathan or even most of the time Caesar or Giorno, you're only getting 1 box out of that if you have a bad Risotto turn or you get unlucky. With Yukako, let's say you get unlucky with Risotto and he's got a bunch of fucking tiles in the middle and you can't get rid of them. Now you're getting 2 boxes. So you're getting 2 boxes that allow you to more consistently clear space on the board for Risotto. It allows you to get rid of Risotto tiles easily. It allows you to get rid of block tiles easily. And when you get all these boxes built up from her skill, sometimes the timing just doesn't work out on the double skill, right? Like, let's say you go in with Yukako and you fuck it up and you don't hit Risotto right away. Shit, that sucks, right? Like, Risotto's not charging anything anymore. And then you finally get him built back up, but Yukako's just not ready to go again. That's fine, because you have all the boxes that her skill naturally generates. You can fill in the board with those boxes to either 1, build her back up, or 2, just cover enough board space for Risotto to make moves without Yukako's ability. She more or less covers every weakness that Risotto has. She's pretty quick, only slightly slower than Giorno. Her pattern is much better. Well, not better than Giorno's, but her pattern is incredible for what Risotto wants. And, of course, it's disjointed. So it's not like Kakyoin, where it's this big splash across the middle of the board that nothing matches up. It's 2 disjointed lines that will make boxes. They're big enough to make boxes. That's really big for Risotto. I mean, I've said it over and over again. But Risotto's biggest problem is that he's inconsistent. And Yukako's biggest strength is that she's incredibly consistent at making him consistent. I mean, even like let's go look at the leaderboard right now, because I'm sure I know she's on here. I saw her a few times. See, oh, there you go. Number 6 has a Yukako. Yukako's not a bonus unit. Caesar is. Caesar's getting all these points because he's a bonus unit. And they keep going. Oh, there she is. Oh, she's coming through. Now, it's pretty impossible to make a score attack that will make Risotto bad. Feasibly, you just can't really do it because of what makes him good. To make a score attack that makes Risotto bad, he either has to flood the board with block tiles, which this one kind of does, and it doesn't matter because Yukako gets rid of it easily, or you have to make tears in the board that will always disrupt what Risotto's trying to do. But then when you do that, you kind of disrupt everybody because there's nobody in the game that handles a torn board well unless it is a Bacchio who can erase torn panels up at the top and he can restore them to playability. But that's a very niche situation that's probably not ever going to happen. So what really makes Yukako this good? I'm rambling again, I know, I'm sorry. But I feel like people don't give her her due. I feel like people like to talk, oh, Stroheim or Caesar or all this stuff. But yeah, those characters are good. Or Jonathan. A lot of people say Jonathan too. And yeah, all of those characters are good. But they're good for similar reasons that Yukako is good. They kind of enable stronger characters to do their thing. But they don't have the toolbox utility that Yukako has. Like, she changes 16 tiles, which is pretty standard. Like, Giorno also changes 16, and I'm pretty sure Jonathan changes 16. But because of her layout has higher potential than theirs does. Because no matter what you do with Jonathan and Giorno, no matter how Risotto does it, it's always going to end up with one box, no matter what. But with Yukako, if you make a mistake, or Risotto just screws you over by being all over the board, you're getting more benefit out of it. So you're either getting the same peak and a more beneficial floor. If I was braver, I would maybe even put her higher than Voiced Giorno at number 4. I'm not that brave yet. I don't know. It's hard again to rank units in this game because even though I put down this criteria of what I think matters the most, it's still hard for me to take everything into consideration. Because I'm still thinking, well, in this kind of content, this character's good, and that kind of content, that character's good. And I don't want to put out this air that I'm disregarding things that make certain characters good. But this is my top 5 ranking right now. I'm gonna commit to it, even though I already kind of doubt myself, because I think that when you're ranking score attack, you basically are ranking the game around Risotto. And I don't really want to do that yet because I don't think everybody is kind of on board with the fact that Pitter Patter Pop has kind of become the Risotto show. I'm going to do one of these maybe every month, just a top 5 sort of state of the game kind of deal. Expect my next one to be very different. And then we'll also have to see if Risotto is still kicking ass because he's crazy. I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. So remember when Part 4 Jotaro, or not Part 4 Jotaro, I'm sorry. I already messed up my analogy. Remember when Gogeta came out in Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle and he was literally the most insane broken character ever? And the game just ran after his coattails for the rest of the time, Every single time a new unit came out after Gogeta, all that mattered was if that unit was good with Gogeta or not, right? That was kind of Part 4 Jotaro. He dropped, he's just super broken. And all that really mattered was, do you help him be super broken or not? Like, that's part of the reason. I mean, Fugo's really consistent, really strong character, but his biggest strength is that he enables a loop with Part 4 Jotaro. I mean, they're the reason stand-up time got nerfed. Risotto is your Super Vegito, right? He comes in, and immediately you've got people who are saying, oh, he's inconsistent. Oh, he's, blah, 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 this fault, this fault, this fault. But at the end of the day, he gets results. Super Vegito, at the end of the day, no matter what you said about how, oh, Rainbow is better than pure agility, and, pure blue sucks, and you'll never beat green bosses, but guess what? He did, and he's getting results. So you can complain as much as you want that Risotto is inconsistent, or that he's really hard to use compared to Fugo and Jotaro, and sure, I'm willing to give that to you, but the fact of the matter is this character gets results. I mean, look at this. Again, he's on something like 95 of these teams. Look at all this red. It's kind of gross. It's ridiculous. I know that tier lists for I don't even want to call this a tier list. This is mostly like a... We're going to call this a snapshot. This is a snapshot of the meta right now. I know a lot of people would look at it and try to say, well, for the regular, the average player, Risotto might not be that great for them. But I really don't want to get into the discussion of player skill. That's too many variables. So we're going to go down one more time. Number 1, Part 4 Jotaro. Number 2, Risotto Nero. Number 3, Fugo. Number 4, Giorno voice. And number 5, Yukako. I'm sticking to it. Even though I doubt myself a little bit, I'm sticking to it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to carry this discussion on either in the comments or on Twitter, because I think there's a lot of good to come out of discussing score attack combinations in this game, and just kind of, I don't know. I would love to talk about it with you guys. So hit me up either in the comments or on Twitter. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.